Hello and welcome to Module 4. We are going to talk all about scheduling social media posts. I did a little teaser in Module 3 about it, but really wanted you to get to know your platforms and your content before you really thought about the next level of scheduling. So this is going to teach you how to really manage social media from anywhere at really any time. So really, you can work from anywhere. You could work from your kids' ball game. You can work from an exotic vacation. Let's hope that happens more than the ball game. You can work in a traditional office, or you can work on the go. What we're going to teach you today is about scheduling social media and then just kind of forgetting about it. And I say that in the the nicest way possible, but a lot of times, like this time of the month, the end of the month is when I'm recording this. Not quite too far into the end, but getting into that last second half of the month, I'm starting to schedule everything for the next month. So by, the end of this week, mid-month, I've got the entire next month scheduled. And what's really great is that I can schedule and forget it. And I just know, hey, it's all scheduled for this client for the whole month of June. Doesn't mean I never check into it or anything like that, but I have it all scheduled. So then I don't have to worry about, oh, is something going to go up? There's always stuff that happens. You always have to kind of check in. You want to keep an eye on it. That's the monitoring part of things. But this is we're talking about just scheduling it and forgetting. Then you can move to your next client and schedule their stuff. So you can see how you only have to spend, especially when you start getting good at creating the content and understanding your client the best, you're not spending a ton of time each day with that client. Maybe at first, maybe as you're getting to be a better social media manager, as you're getting to know the client more, but really I have clients now that I've worked with for years that we may meet for an hour ish, maybe usually less than that a month. And then it takes me maybe another hour to schedule their content. Now they may be sending me stuff throughout the month, but usually I'll put that in a folder and do it on my day I'm scheduling everything for that month, or I'll just schedule it right then immediately. And it literally takes me 5 minutes. So that's what I want you to get to, is where you can schedule this stuff. Maybe that's the day that you sit in the office and schedule stuff. And then the next day and those days moving forward, or maybe for the rest of the month, you don't have to be tied to a computer. So how are we going to do that? Well, there's a lot of options out there, and you may have your favorite already. I know my favorite has changed in the last, almost 20 years of scheduling content, but my favorite right now are internal schedulers. So the big hype years ago with these external schedulers, or what I call, or what I guess is called third-party schedulers, is that Facebook in particular didn't like those. They didn't like it when something was scheduled from a third party. So guess what? Facebook and Instagram now has internal schedulers. And so if you pop over to my Just Facebook training, Just Instagram training, um, you can learn all about those. I'm even going to probably pop over live in the Facebook group and go over Meta or business, Facebook business, whatever you want to call it. Meta business, I think, is the now name, because I was just told a training I did less than a month ago, it's already changed. So I need to go in there for myself and check out some things. And so I'm just going to bring you guys along. So definitely take a look at that in the Facebook group. If it's not posted already, ask away and I can point you to the direction, or I can tell you when I'm going to be doing it. Maybe I'll do it live and you can join me there too. So Facebook and Instagram, you can internal schedule through their applications. It's actually, be another link, another app, which we're going to talk about apps here in a few. And that's another way to kind of keep you going on the road there and not have to be tied down. But then we have our third-party schedulers. And so I was a huge Hootsuite fan. I used it forever. You can talk to people I worked with like 10 years ago. I loved Hootsuite, and I still was using it up until about 18 months ago. And they changed some stuff, and it's not aligned with what I want anymore. It's way too expensive for most of my clients. So I popped over to Publer. But it really just depends on you. What's really great about Publer and Hootsuite, and I actually Googled it to see if there were some people that used to work at Hootsuite now work at Publer, because it is very similar. That's what's really nice about the scheduling. So Publer, which I think if you Google it, it's like pub.ler, which is, people have asked me, is that the right one? Yes, that is the right one. And it's really nice because you can schedule, Facebook and Instagram, but you can also schedule LinkedIn, and you can schedule Twitter, and, Pinterest. Something else, that internal scheduler, I want to just touch on this. You can schedule stories. I know I touched on that on module 3, but you can schedule stories. So that is awesome. So I have some stories that go out every day that I schedule through the internal scheduler. And then there's our buddy Canva. You can actually schedule through Canva. And I've talked to so many people that just love this. I have not explored this a ton. I've scheduled some just, for training, but I have not used it a ton personally. So I just have heard that people love it. And so I don't know if it's just a better mix for maybe like one client at a time, because I'm always scared, especially because I'm connected to so much, that I'm going to accidentally post something to somebody else's. And I feel the third-party schedulers, the other two, and the internal schedulers make sure that I'm just posting to the right page. But maybe there's another CRM. I'm working with a client that's been using a CRM forever. Like, hey, do you want to use it? I'm like, yeah, I mean, it could be a good fit. It gives me content, which I really like. I'm kind of bummed. I think they're going to get rid of it at the end of the year and try something else. So they've been asking me about what we should use. But most of them are very easy to use. So do not get, shied away if they bring up some other CRM. Most of the time you can learn to use it pretty quickly. But is there a one size fits all? Absolutely not. Agorapulse is another one that I was using with a couple clients probably earlier this year. Both of them have moved on, but they were wanting just something a little different when it came to scheduling. And so that one worked really well too. So if there's anyone that you want to ask my opinion on, like I said, I have used so many, go ahead and just post over in the Facebook group, and I can let you know what I've used and if I've had a good result with it, and others can chime in as well. That's what I love about this community. So the internal schedulers are Facebook, Instagram, that's that Meta Business Suite or Business Meta Suite. I probably copied it directly from what it's really called, but anytime I use anything called Business Suite, Meta, anything like that. I think there's another one that I've sometimes had to jump over to get stuff. Creator Studio. There we go. I was looking on my phone because I couldn't remember the name. Oh yeah, it's right in front of me. All of those have worked, and sometimes they're glitchy on certain days and you have to bump over to another one. So you have to, be flexible, be patient with this. It is a free platform for scheduling Facebook and Instagram. So you kind of get what you're paying for. But if you head over to business.facebook.com, you can walk yourself through that, check it out, play around with it. Like I mentioned, I'm going to be going live and showing you an updated, and I'm probably going to have to do this almost monthly. Maybe it'll slow down a little bit, but that's what's great about the Facebook group. We're going to be constantly giving you new trainings when things change, because that's what happens. Creator Studio is for my video folks. So if you're doing a lot of video, you want to check out Creator Studio. It's going to just make your life easier when it comes to scheduling videos. So there's third-party schedulers, like I mentioned, Publer, Hootsuite, Canva. It's just .com to get there. They're all about the same. Some of them, well, let me just say, most of them have a free package, but then, as you add social media platforms and stuff, it might go up. So what I would do when I'm proposing to somebody and they're like, oh, I want to be on, 4 social media platforms, and say, go check out those third-party schedulers and see what works for you. Sometimes it's a mix. Sometimes I do Facebook and Instagram, and then I jump over and do LinkedIn on Hootsuite. Whatever one is easier. If you're an app person, you're working from your phone, that is important. Hootsuite does have an app. I don't believe Publer has an app. I feel like I was just looking for it the other day. And of course, Canva has an app. But like I said, I have not scheduled anything from the Canva app. I've just done a couple schedules from the desktop just to check it out. And then, CRM, LinkedIn, Google. Google is another one that people have been using a lot. Publer is great for that. Just check it out. Say that, you're not familiar with it, but you're willing to give it a try. Again, you're learning more, so you can always charge, if you have to learn something new, you can always charge a little bit more. So that's just a little side note there. Apps that keep you organized. So these are like my favorite apps here that are on my phone that I think if I could delete everything else, I would be okay. Business Suite is going to make sure I'm connected to my business pages on Facebook and Instagram. So what has happened, and it goes back and forth, and like I say, maybe by the time you listen to this, it could be different, but I also keep Creator Studio on my phone. And I don't do a ton of video through Creator Studio, but there are some things like if I have to go in and edit, sometimes Business Suite won't let me, so I have to go over to Creator Studio. So sometimes it's just bouncing back and forth. And those are both the internal schedulers of Facebook and Instagram. And then Hootsuite and Canva apps are really great because you can, if you're working on something on your desktop, you can see it on the Canva app. And so maybe you, you show, like a lot of times I like bring my tablet and show like, okay, I created this. What do you think? I mean, if we're meeting face to face, then you can go right there in real time and make a change that they wanted and then save it. And, like I said, I can get back to my office and, schedule it, or I can schedule it from here, whatever we need to, or email it from here, email it from my office. So those really help. Hootsuite is really nice. Instagram now will go direct, but before we had to do some pushing out of Instagram, and it was nice to have that Hootsuite app. Same thing. If a client texts you and said, hey, we're canceling our event today, you can jump into any of these apps, no matter where you are. Maybe you are, on a field trip with your kid, you can jump on that app and go ahead and take that down quickly. And so I feel like if anything, these apps help with customer service, and is probably a reason that I, in business and do better than some social media managers, because I'm willing to, take that. If I see a client texts me and I need to go in there and do it, I do it immediately. And I text them back, say it's taken care of. They don't know if I'm sitting in my office or I'm at a field trip. And people have, obviously you have to set your own boundaries, but that's my boundaries. So what about work on the go items? Depending if you're going to do some Facebook Lives, if you're going to need to do some Zooms and that kind of thing, there may be a need for a ring light. This is a great example of one. You just put your phone in there. He even has his tablet down below, so you have a couple screens there. A mic is nice, especially if you're working on the go and you're not in a quiet area. I always tell people I've never really needed a mic, but I'm going to be launching a podcast at the end of this year, and I'm probably going to get a mic just because. I think the clarity might be a little bit better, but I've never used a mic with Zoom, but I also have a louder voice. So just got to realize that maybe it's recording a couple things and listening and just seeing how it'll help you. A cell phone stand is so great because, everyone has shaky hands, even if you don't. And so just to be able to do that, be hands-free, be able to get on your laptop or your tablet at the same time is a great way to, work on the go. Your mobile device is fantastic. A tablet or a phone, really doesn't matter what it is, in terms of like how great it is. Most of the phones have a better camera than a lot of our digital camera friends. Same thing with the tablets. So I wouldn't be too picky. I always say start small, start, as cheap as you can go. I always say I never had a business loan or anything for this business. I just started from the ground up and just added things as I made money. And so that is, some goals to set. Maybe you want a newer phone. Well, start, going out there and getting some clients and, set that goal for, how much you're gonna have to save from that client. Or if you're working a full-time job at the same time, maybe it's one client who buys you a new phone. So the overhead can be very inexpensive as a social media manager, but I think people think they need a lot more than they actually do. So some other items you might need. I mentioned those 3 apps. I could probably live without everything else, but I like some of these other ones. So of course I like the Facebook app. I like the Facebook app because I like to follow some of the clients I work with and make them see first. So in case someone else posted something, I can see it. I also allows me to make sure things are being posted out that I scheduled. But I also like to connect with people that might give me content. So I work with a pediatrician and he loves to share anything from the school, anything from the library. So of course I post, I make sure I see them. So then we can reshare that as part of his content. So we might have 3 original posts a week, and then I'm sharing a couple 2 or 3 times a week. So that way that's something else you can say. It's like, hey, do you partner with people, or you're a pediatrician? Would you want to, promote community? Instagram the same way. I like to watch stories, and so I, would download that. Some are for business, some are for fun, and you can toggle between the two, so you can actually have access to all of your client stuff. What I like about that is the comments and things like that. Like I can see that. Without having to go through a second app and then opening Instagram. So I'll just like, maybe bring up all the different pages I have on Instagram. And as long as if there's a notification, it'll tell me like you have one comment and so many likes. And so I can click on that, and just check it out really quick. I can also reshare again on stories, anything that's, similar audiences, stuff that, that client also thinks is important. But we're not just sharing other people's content the whole time, but it's kind of a nice filler. Messenger is really nice. I mean, I have more people message me on my personal than my business anymore, mainly probably because of launching this course and me really having my picture out there and responding a lot from my personal page. So I don't mind that. It's all up to you. Again, Messenger is now connected to the businesses too, but you will get a notification. Just make sure those notifications are turned on. You may have to do some different stuff in your phone to make sure things are turned on. TikTok is always a fun one. That's where you can kind of find some trends. So listening is a big part of social media, like we've mentioned before. And, TikTok is really cool about finding trends. And so if you're looking for people that, like, oh, I want to start doing TikTok videos, you're going to have to do a little bit of, like I told my daughter, she goes, what is this app doing on your phone? Because I told her that we were not doing TikTok and she was not getting on TikTok. And I said, marketing research. And of course, I was in a meeting when she called me out on it. And she was with me and everyone laughed. But yes, marketing research. So editing storage apps, one of my favorite, an oldie but goodie. It's called Square Ready. Just note how it's written there because it's all kind of one word. I love it to fix logos because if you go look at somebody's Facebook page, 9 times out of 10, their logo is not fitting in that circle. And I know it says square, but you can still fit it into a circle. And I feel like that's really low lying fruit. Like I literally used to do that for people just because like that was a frustration point for them. And that's a barrier of entry. And so you could charge just for that if you wanted to. But usually I do that as part of my update with them, or, I tell them it needs done. And then if they don't want to do it, then they have me do it. Google Drive is another one I love. I try to put everything in Google Drive. That way, if my hard drive crashes, then I'm good to go because it's in Google Drive. I've not lost anything yet. I feel like I may have lost something that I've been working on, but that could have been me. Maybe I may have deleted it. Who knows? And Google Photos. So I have a lot of photos on my phone. My mom teases me about how many thousands of photos I have on my phone, but most of them are work stuff, screenshots, things people have sent me. So I like to back those up into Google Photos and then clear off my phone. That way I always have them. I probably will never have to go back to the work photos, or you can just go back through and start deleting stuff, but it is nice to always have those. What I call professional development apps. I'm a lifelong learner. I love that kind of stuff. And so to me, apps that are important to keep my business rolling is the podcast app. And that's just not to listen to my own podcast that hopefully will be launching here at the end of 2022, but to listen to those people experts in the field. I love Grammarly, even though I always catch some typos on here. Don't worry, I've already seen them, but you can message me if you'd like. I am the typo queen. I do my best work as soon as I hit publish. Grammarly does help me though. I can only imagine how much worse I would be without Grammarly. I pay for Grammarly. It's on my phone and on my desktop. It's definitely worth it, but there is a free version of Grammarly. PayPal, this is if you want to take payments that way. I used to do that and then have to transfer it over. I now use, not Square, the other one. It starts with an S. I'm blanking on the word, but it integrates with 17 Hats, which is my proposal and invoicing program that I do keep that app on my phone. I talk more about this in the last module about just invoicing and proposals and how to keep that business rolling. So I won't bore you today with that, but it is something if you're interested in, it is coming up. So that is it for module 4. So I cannot believe that we're through this. Hopefully you're just binging it all in the same day. And then you can just like hit the ground running that first weekend, or whenever you have time, or today. I feel like each one of these modules, there's little bits and pieces that you can take and start implementing. I hope you're taking notes. And if you have any questions, please jump over to the Facebook group and find me.